So I also joined by phone. I think then the sound is better. Correct? Can you hear me?
Can you hear our voice? You're still in unmute.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Honorable Supervisor Team, Honorable External and Internal Examiner, Honorable Representative of Professors of Universitas Pajajaran, dear audience here in the auditorium and those who join in live streaming in YouTube. On behalf of Universitas Pajajaran, I would like to show my appreciation for your attendance in this doctoral promotion. Today, we will have the doctoral promotion of our students, Mohammed Adel Mohammed Al-faqeeh, as a doctor candidate in pharmacy. By saying Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I declare that the doctoral promotion session is officially started. Firstly, the secretary will deliver the code of conduct of the promotion. Please, for the secretary.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Rule of Conduct Doctoral Promotion Defense Faculty of Pharmacy, Universitas Pajajaran. First, all attendees are required to follow the sequence of the defense proceedings until completion, while maintaining order and ensuring the smooth conduct of the event. Second, all participants, whether attending in person or online, are requested to keep their microphone mute when not speaking to prevent background noise. Third, when required to speak or pose a question, please ensure that your microphone is unmute. Fourth, for the duration of the defense, attendees present in the physical examination hall are not permitted to enter or exit the room and are prohibited from receiving phone calls. Fifth, in cases of absolute emergency, mobile phone may be used to receive message provided the device remain on silent mode. And the sixth, any attendee who anticipate being unable to properly follow the proceedings of this defense session is kindly requested to leave the examination room.
Now we will invite promovendus to join the room. Coming to the academic accountability speech from supervisor team regarding the eligibility of the promovendus to deliver his presentation and defense it in this promotion session. So please, Professor Aulia Swantika, the floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Distinguished Chair and Secretary of the Examination Committee, Honorable examiners, esteemed professors, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is our honor as the Supervisory Committee consisting of me, Dr. Nelly Zakia, and Professor Martin Posma to present the academic statement for the doctoral dissertation of Mr. Mohammed Adel Mohammed Al-faqeeh, entitled Setting Priorities for New Healthcare Interventions in Indonesia, Policy Applications in Older Adult Vaccination and Maternal Supplementation. Mr. Al-faqeeh earned his Bachelor of Science in Pharmaceutical Sciences from Sana'a University in Yemen, then pursued a Master of Science in Clinical Pharmacy at Universitas Pajajaran in Indonesia. In 2024, he was admitted to the Doctor of Pharmacy program at the Faculty of Pharmacy Universitas Pajajaran under the BPDP scholarship. During his master study, Mr. Al-faqeeh demonstrated an early commitment to scientific research by publishing 9 articles in reputable national and international journals. Starting from this foundation, he made substantial research contributions throughout his doctoral study, resulting in 14 published articles, 9 as a primary author, and 7 manuscripts currently under peer review. His published work includes several articles in Scopus Q1 and Q2 journals, as well as publications in the top 10% Scopus journals, and an editor's choice article. reflecting his scientific independence, leadership, and sustained commitment to advancing pharmaceutical sciences and evidence-informed healthcare policy. The dissertation addresses a highly relevant and original topic in evidence-informed healthcare priority setting in Indonesia. The research integrates three complementary studies. First, the development of a comprehensive conceptual framework for healthcare priority setting. Second, the application of multi-criteria decision analysis to prioritize vaccines for older adults in Indonesia. And the third, the evaluation of maternal perspectives on multiple micronutrient supplementation. Collectively, these studies provide a transparent, systematic, and evidence-based framework to support healthcare decision-making and resource allocation in the Indonesian health system. The Supervisory Committee considers this dissertation scientifically rigorous and relevant to current healthcare challenges in Indonesia. These findings are expected to advance pharmaceutical sciences, health technology assessment, and evidence-informed healthcare policy, and to provide practical recommendations that support transparent and systematic decision-making within the Indonesian health system. The dissertation was developed through continuous consultation with the Supervisory Committee and underwent comprehensive academic review, carefully considering the comments and recommendations from the appointed external examiners and representatives of the Board of Professors during the June 2026 dissertation manuscript review. The review panel consisted of me, Dr. Nelly Zakia, Professor Martin Posma, Professor Rizky Abdullah, Dr. Sofa Dewi Alfian, Dr. Panji Fortuna Hadi Sumarto, and Dr. Adiatma Yudhistira Manugan. The candidate carefully addressed all recommendations from the review process, resulting in substantial improvements to dissertation scientific quality, methodological rigor, clarity of presentation, and overall contribution. The Supervisory Committee is therefore confident that the dissertation meets the academic standards expected of a doctoral dissertation at Universitas Padjadjaran. The Supervisory Committee concludes that dissertation has fulfilled all academic requirements and is worthy of examination in this open doctoral defense. Hence, we respectfully present the candidate to this distinguished examination committee for the final doctoral defense in accordance with their academic regulation and standards of Universitas Padjadjaran. We respectfully entrust the final academic decision to this honorable examination committee. Finally, the Supervisory Committee would like to express its sincere appreciation to Universitas Padjadjaran for entrusting us with supervising and guiding the candidate throughout his doctoral journey toward the highest academic degree awarded by university. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much. Dear audience, the supervisor team have declared the eligibility of the promovendus to present and defend his doctoral work to the committee in this doctoral defense forum. Thank you. So it is now time for the promovendus to give his presentation, and it should be not more than 20 minutes. So doctoral candidate Adel Mohammed Al-faqeeh, the floor is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Distinguished Chairperson and Secretary of the Examination Committee, my esteemed supervisors, honorable members of the Examination Committee, dear lecturers, friends, family, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And good afternoon to all of you who are joining us today here. And also, I can see Dr. Banji. He's joining us from Jakarta and Prof. Doi from Yogyakarta. And good morning to Prof. Martin, who's joining us from the Netherlands. And I would like also to welcome Dr. Nasser Haider, as well as Professor Naveen Aburmila from Qatar University, who's joining us today in the Zoom meeting. Thank you for coming and attending my final defense, which is with the title of Setting Priorities for New Healthcare Interventions in Indonesia. with policy applications in older adult vaccination and maternal supplementation. This research was conducted by myself, Mohammed Adel Mohammed Al-faqeeh, and supervised by Prof. Awliya Sumantika and Dr. Nili Zakia from University, and Prof. Martin Postema from University of Groningen in the Netherlands. A short background about the Indonesian health system. So it's actually clear how we have strong commitment from the government and support regarding the healthcare interventions. So it's clear enough in the vision of the Ministry of Health and also in the President vision that the main point is that the vision is focusing on is improving the maternal health and also the improve or control the disease control. And if you can see here, it's in the health transformation system, it's like in the core of the health in the health system transformation, we can see that one of the primary surface transformation is the primary prevention. And as well as we can see in the health system, in the health security system transformation, the healthcare system is supporting the pharmaceutical and medical equipment sector resilience. And one more thing is about the health technology transformation, in which, you know, they are supporting the health technology and biotechnology. And what it is more interesting is about the three, as you can see here, three different laws from three different ministries is in support of the implementation of national immunization program in Indonesia. We would like to go just a short overview about the life course of immunization in Indonesia. We can see here the national immunization program in Indonesia is vaccines that are targeting the infant and children with around 14 vaccines. And as well as we can see in the pregnant women, there are some vaccines. However, it's not that well covered, but at least there are some vaccines. And if talking about the adult population, there are also growing studies that prioritize the such vaccines to be included in the national immunization program. So there was a study in 2021, and also for your information, that Indonesia is one of the countries that is running clinical trials for no TB vaccine, and they're targeting this population group, which is the adult. But if we are talking about the older adult population, we can see here they are in the red color because there is no dedicated older adult vaccination program, and they have no vaccine inside the national immunization program. And of course, with the exception of COVID-19, because it was a global pandemic, and many countries have prioritized using this vaccine. And beside this, also there is a lack of structured methodology for prioritizing vaccines in this population group. So there should be research that could focus on this population group and also for the methodologies that is used in this population group. Another important thing in the Indonesian health system is about the maternal supplementation. So previously, the pregnant women in Indonesia, they were giving iron folic acid for free. And that program started in 2014. And we have data here, as you can see here in the left side. It's around more than 50% of the pregnant women who are not taking iron folic acid. However, it is giving for free for them. And the prevalence of the anemia and other problems resulting from malnutrition is still high. So we go back through the literature to see what could be like the problems beside like not taking this interventions. And we find some studies that mention about the maternal perspective, including the knowledge, attitude, and the acceptance of this intervention. So, but fortunately, you can see we have new intervention. They call it MMS, or multiple macronutrient supplementation. It was launched 2 years ago here in Bandung. And what is more interesting about this intervention is that we can see in the right side, we have 15 nutrients that can be tablet that can be taken by the pregnant woman. And what is more interesting is that transition. There are studies that reported that transition from iron folic acid to MMS can avert between 7 to 28 million additional infant death across 32 low and middle income countries, in which Indonesia is one of them. And recent evidence that was conducted by my classmate here in the faculty, it shows that transition from iron folic acid to MMS showed cost effective in Indonesia. So we already have the intervention. We don't want to be in the same problem that was previously with iron folic acid. So there should be studies that focus on the maternal perspective in order to prioritize such vaccines or such interventions that could increase the uptake of this intervention. So based on this short background, the research problem is what are the current frameworks, criteria, approaches, implementation challenges of the healthcare priorities in Indonesia. And we aimed to review all these. And the second problem is which new vaccines getting the older adult in Indonesia should be prioritized, and what are the prioritization order of these new selected vaccines. So we have identified such vaccines to be prioritized, and then we order them according to their importance. And then what are the levels of knowledge, attitude, and acceptance regarding MMS among pregnant women in Indonesia? And what are the factors associated with knowledge, negative attitude, and low acceptance among pregnant women in Indonesia? So we hope the outcome of this dissertation can promote informed decision-making, optimize resource allocation, and provide methodologies and tools that could be used for further studies, and also to improve the public health in Indonesia. So the first part, which was about the comprehensive review, we adopted the narrative review approach. So we explored the health priority settings approaches in Indonesia, and we provided, conceptual and policy foundation for the subsequent empirical studies that we are talking about, the vaccination and MMS. We have searched in medical databases, including PubMed and MBase. We have used multiple keywords related to the health priority settings. And also we have did manual screening of the references. We also included the Indonesian policies and strategic documents, including those from the Ministry of Health and Ministry of National Planning and the National Insurance System, BPJS Kesehatan, and also from the international guidelines in which it guides us to, to synthesize this framework from the WHO. And then we did the narrative synthesis. We tried to identify the criteria, also to organize the findings into themes, including analytical approach and the deliberative approach. We searched also about something about the quality considerations, implementation challenges, and operational barriers. And also, so the goal of this review, it was to contextualize the vaccine prioritization and also the MMS study, and also to support the development of recommendation for strengthening healthcare priorities in Indonesia. So what we found in the review is what the review relieved about Indonesia. So there is increase. There is increased use of evidence-informed decision making, and there was also combination of use between the analytical and deliberative approaches. There was also growing roles of stakeholder engagement. But the problem is that there was persistent implementation and acceptability gaps and limited structured propositions for older adult vaccination. So what the review identified and recommended for the Indonesian health system, the priority setting criteria that we have identified, we have identified 5 criteria, including disease burden, effectiveness, cost and affordability, equity and fairness, and then we have the acceptability. And then we have these categorized the decision-making approaches into 3 main categories. We have the analytical approach, including health technology assessment, program budgeting, marginal analysis. We have also health need assessment, and we have the basic priority setting system. And then we had the deliberative one, which has 2 approaches. We have the accountability for reasonableness, and then we have the multi-voting technique. And there were such techniques or approaches that are mixed. You could say that they are deliberative and analytical at the same time, like the Delphi technique and MCDA. Regarding the implementation and acceptability gap that have been identified, we have identified limited and patient and public perspective. That's why we use the patient perspective regarding the MMS. And also we have found, regional disabilities in the access, culture, and contextual barriers. We have identified also implementation challenges in the universal health coverage. And then there was a need for patient-centered evidence. That's why we made the MMS part. And then there was also limited priority settings approaches for the older adult. So the review that, the finding from the review, we have used them in both studies, the vaccine prioritization, in which we use the MCDA approach, and MMS, in which we use the patient perspective. So talking about the older adult vaccination, we started with registering the protocol, and it is available online. And then we got the ethical approval, and we have gotten also the written and verbal informed consent from the included stakeholders. So we adopted the SMART vaccine, which is the strategic multi-attribute ranking tool vaccine within MCDA framework, which is the multi-criteria decision analysis. We adopted to Indonesia health system and context and needs of older adults, and we have integrated multiple sources of evidence with the stakeholder preference. We have gone through 6 steps, as you can see here. The first one was vaccine selection, and then we did the attribute selection. After that, we did the scoring and weighting, and after that we got the calculation, and finally the analysis. So as you can see here in the left side, we have the stakeholders that are from different levels. You can see we included from global level, we have the WHO, and the national level we have included different ministries that have direct contact with the immunization program, and also we have included the vaccine manufacturers. So we have included 12 institutions, 10 of them joined, and then the total of stakeholders who participated were 17 representatives. So in case there were more than one from one institution, we got only one answer from each institution. And these stakeholders were included in these processes, starting with confirming the vaccine candidate, moving to validate the attributes, and then they assign total of weight of 100, and then they review the evidence that we have, and also they score the vaccines against the attributes. So we have identified the vaccine, as you can see here, from a recommendation based on Indonesian Society of Internal Medicine and also the WHO positioning papers. These vaccines were too many, but after discussion with the research team, we have identified 4 vaccines to be included in the study. And this filtration was based on the disease burden, public health importance, and programmatic relevance. And then based on these 4 vaccines, we have identified 31 attributes based on these 4. And then after discussion again with the research team to make it more focused into these 4 vaccines, we have filtered to be final 10 attributes, as you can see in the lower part, in 4 goals, including health. We have 4 attributes, and after that we have the economic, in which we have 2 attributes, and then the demographic and public, and finally the scientific and business. We have also calculated gathered data regarding each one of the attributes for each one of the vaccine. As you can see here, we try to be sticking with the Indonesian context to find data from the Indonesian context. But sometimes, especially regarding the new vaccines, such as the RSV vaccine, in which the data is the data is lacking here in Indonesia, so we've tried to get data from the neighbors country in which they have, similar characteristic with Indonesia. So after we got all this, we have got the main stakeholder score, and then the main weight for each attribute, and then we did calculation. We multiply both of them to get the weighted score, and then we sum the whole scores to get the total or the composite score, and accordingly we have ranked the vaccines into which one is number 1, 2, and 3, and 4. After that, we did sensitivity analysis. So here's the result that you can see here. The calculation that we have done. So we have the mean. So we have the mean weight that is for the whole attributes, and this mean weight should be like 100. we can see that some attributes such as like, the calorie gained or value avoided got the highest mean weight, which means that the stakeholders put like more focus on this because of its important. The second one, we can see also the relevance to older adult public health priorities, in which we are focusing about the equity. And then we had got also the main score, and then we multiple the main score with the main weight to get the weighted score. And finally, at the end, we can see here the total weighted score, in which we rank the vaccine accordingly. We have number 1, 2, and then Zoster ranked the last one, and before that we had the RSV. After that, we did also sensitivity analysis, but even after we did the sensitivity analysis, the ranking of these vaccines remained the same. The last part about the multiple micronutrient supplementation. So we developed a protocol, and this study was conducted in Indonesia. This study was conducted in Indonesia, and we targeted the pregnant women who are more than 18 years old, and we developed an instrument from the crash. I mean, we were based on the, developed based on the international guidelines that are focusing on the maternal aspects, including the WHO, UN, and we have reviewed the literature review in this context. We had 4 domains, including demographic, knowledge, attitude, and acceptance. And after that, number 3, we did validation to that instrument. So we moved through several steps, including the expert review, in which we had 4 experts, and then we did face validity with 30 pregnant women, and then we moved to a pilot study in which we included 200, and those 200 were excluded from the main analysis, in which we did the validity and reliability testing. Data collection, we use online Google form, and then we use the convenience sampling, and then we work together in different areas using the social media, and also we worked with the local organizations. And then we also hired midwives in area where the internet is somehow limited. We use multiple tests in order to get that findings about the levels of knowledge, attitude, and acceptance, and also to get the factor associated. So we use the multivariate logistic regression. So as you can see here in the flow chart, we had more than 1,000. We have 1,255 at first. We excluded 3 because of the age, and then the rest of them were, we talked 30 for the face validity, and then 200 for the validation and reliability testing, and the rest of them were included in the main analysis. As we can see here, the characteristic of the participants were included in the validity and reliability testing, which is in the pilot study. We can see from different groups, different education levels, and other factors. And then here are the results for the person test in which we test the validity testing. You can see all the results were significant, and then we had the reliability testing in which we tested the Columbus Alpha, and in which all the results showed acceptable reliability result. Okay, and then here are the characteristics of the included participants. We can see that most of them were between the age of 25 to 34 and were in senior high school and were unemployed, married, and they had a monthly household income between 1 to 3 million. And there was no difference between the residents. Most of them also were in the 3rd trimester and were multi-gravida. So the main finding which we are searching for about the level of knowledge, attitude, and acceptance, we have found that the level of knowledge and the acceptance were somehow lower than the attitude. We can see in the knowledge, the level was 62.7, and then for the acceptance was 66.5, while the attitude was high, more than 90%. We have also tested used the bivariate association in order to see what are the factors that are associated with the poor knowledge, negative attitude, and low acceptance. And as you can see here, the factors that are with the green ticks showed a statistical significant result in this stage, and we have moved them into multivariable linguistic regression. And those are with the yellow and pink color. They showed significantly association between these factors and the poor knowledge, negative attitude, and high and low acceptance. So we could say the conclusion of this is that the comprehensive review have identified the current landscape of the health priority setting in Indonesia, and we have showed the 5 factors or 5 criteria that should be focused or included in the framework of Indonesian health system. And we have identified the informed evidence-informed decision making is increasing, but implementation remains somehow fragmented. And then a greater integration of the evidence and stakeholder engagement and patient perspective is needed. From the vaccine part, the study demonstrated that structured MCDA can transparently prioritize vaccines for older adult in Indonesia. And we have ranked and we have prioritized based on the finding from the stakeholder that influenza vaccine ranked the highest, followed by BCV and then RSV vaccine, and finally the zoster one. We have found also that health impact, public health relevance, and economic values were the main stronger drivers in the prioritizations based on the perspective of the stakeholders. And finally, for the maternal MNS part, it demonstrated that knowledge was the major determinants of attitude and acceptance. And although attitude was, the attitudes were highly positive, knowledge and acceptance remained somehow lower. And then such factors that, as we saw in the previous slide, showed significantly influence the MMS, in which it can help us to, to develop interventions that could, improve the uptake of MMS in Indonesia. So the outcome of this dissertation, first part is the comprehensive review has been published in Q1 journal. It is considered as one of the top 10 Scopus Index journal. About the setting priorities for healthcare interventions in Indonesia. And then the second part of this dissertation has been also published in PMC Public Health. This is the MMS part. And the third part, which is about the vaccine, we were actually in an advanced stage. We are in the second round, and the journal is expert review of vaccine, and it is considered as one of the top 10 also Scopus Index journal. Last month we have published 2 articles about the determinant of the stunting and factor associated with stunting. And as you know, stunting is one of the outcome or the complications of malnutrition. So we published 2 articles last month. One of them we used the Indonesian Life Survey database, which was somehow not updated, but also we got a new database, the most updated one from National Health Survey. And and the last 3 months we got an honor from the Value in Health journal that our article has been chosen to be the editor choice, and this journal is considered as one of the top 10 Scopus Index journal in pharmacoeconomics. And regarding also about the vaccination and prioritizations, I was part of the WHO workshop, and this work was drafted and also published by me with other colleagues from there, and in Journal Vaccine, and that journal considered also one of the top 10 Scopus Index journal. And also another work regarding the tuberculosis have worked with colleagues here from the faculty regarding the role of pharmacists in controlling the in improving the drug-resistant tuberculosis management. Other article somehow far away from my dissertation, but I love to to work outside. So this is related to the medication adherence and the contributing factors of patients in heart failure within the Middle East countries with the systematic reviews. And also I had some collaborative works with my classmates, colleagues, and also I have some articles that are still under peer review now, and hopefully they are getting accepted soon. I think that's all. And we have, before I finish, we have the article that the economic evaluation one was presented last year in Qatar University in an implementation science conference that was organized by the Global Implementation Society in accordance with the Qatar University. And the same research also was presented in ESPOR conference in Japan, Tokyo last year also. And finally, our comprehensive review, the first part of this dissertation was presented as oral presentation in a conference in Turkey. Thank you so much. I think that's all from my side, and looking forward to the discussion with the examination committee.
Thank you very much, Mohammed Adel, Mohammed Al-faqeeh, for nice presentation. Please let me confirm the committee about their acceptance on the candidates' presentation. The external examiner, internal examiners, and the representative of professor, do you accept the presentation of promovendus?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, and we will continue the sessions. Dear promovendus, by the acceptance of your presentation, it is your obligation now to defend it in front of the committee forum. For the first, I will invite Professor Martin J. Posma as co-supervisor to give the questions. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Lady Chairwoman. I know Mohammed, of course, as being co-supervisor, and I have met Mohammed several times in Indonesia, and it always struck me, Mohammed, how well you took care of me. I remember coming to Jakarta late in the evening with the airplane from Europe, and I had my wife with me, and you were there to pick me up. I think we had I remember a very nice meal that we had on our way from Jakarta to Bandung after midnight. It even was, I think, but it illustrates how well you always took care of me, and how wonderful it always was to meet you in Indonesia. It was only a few times because, of course, you've done your PhD super fast. So my congratulations on being here today, that's for sure. We have discussed all the chapters many times. They have been peer-reviewed, published. So what can I say? Peer-reviewed publication is the truth, so to say. So what can I still ask you about the content of your work? So I thought for today, let me ask you a different type of question. I guess it's a more general question, Mohammed, and it is looking back to your work, and you would be in the situation that you could start all over. Now, yeah, all over. I think it's only 2 years ago that you started, as said, super fast. If you would be able to do it all over, would you do something different? Where would you make maybe slight changes, etc., etc.? So that's my, let's say, first question. If there's time, I have another one.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. Martin, for your kind words. And it's a pleasure and honor to be supervised by Prof. Martin. Regarding your question, I think if I have the chance to do a research again, I would do it in the same area, because there's a lack of literature. There's a big lack in this area, especially the older adult, and also the pregnant women. Maybe we could develop it more. We could have the study design more different, like we could have it offline meeting, maybe workshop. And actually that was our intention at first, to have that as a workshop. But due to the economic issue, maybe we couldn't find the fund for that workshop. So that's why we moved through the online study design. But again, we will work hard on that part for prioritizing vaccines to targeting this population group. Same also for MMS about the pregnant women. I can see so many problems are resulting from the malnutrition of pregnancy in Indonesia, including stunting. We could see anemia, so many problems. So I think my study only is not alone, and it's not enough to cover this area. There should be also maybe qualitative studies that could interview the pregnant women. We could go further with stakeholders in order to get different perspectives and eventually to cover this problem. I think that's the answer.
Yeah. I fully agree, Mohammed. Thanks for that answer. And you already touched upon my next, also general question. You already mentioned a few aspects there. So, if you would be able to continue the work in exactly this field that you worked in, if you would be able to continue the work for a few more years, where would your priorities be? What do you think are still the loose ends of your research, and what would you like to develop further if you had the chance?
Yeah. So if we're talking about the further research in this area, as I discussed at the beginning of my presentation, so there's no single vaccine that is already included in the national immunization program, and not only this problem about the older adult, it's about also the frameworks and methodologies that could encourage the other studies to do other prioritization studies, either in vaccination or in other interventions. So the outcome of my dissertation has not only given the findings or recommendations, but also it has some, I mean, the methodologies can be used for other prioritizations. So I would love to work on developing more instrument maybe, or frameworks that could help the prioritization or priority setting in Indonesia.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Mohammed. This is exactly how I've learned to know you. Very, very careful and precise and clear answers. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Let me give the word back to the chair.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Martin. So now I will invite the supervisor, Professor Aulia Swantika, to give the questions, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, the chair lady. So first, I would like to congratulate Paki on your impressive publication record, reflecting your hard work and dedication. In light of this, I have one specific question. What are the underlying links that connect all of your published and under review manuscripts?
Yeah, I think that's a difficult question. So actually, at this stage, I came here to Indonesia with a desire to get much knowledge, and that's it started by myself. I published some articles, and then my classmates requested to help them, and that's one of the reasons to be included in area out of my topic, and I found much data that is available here in Indonesia, and it's easy to get. I mean, as a secondary data. Unlike some countries, they have some restriction or lack of secondary data. So that gave me a chance to just go. You have the data, and you can just work and then publish. And then it's a matter of the quality of the writing, and everything will be good. So I think that's why we can say that I have more than one direction. But again, all they are going through one direction, which is the scientific writing, scientific knowledge. And once we read more, we know more, even out of our topics. Thank you.
For the answer, I'm very satisfied.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you very much, Professor Aulia. So now for the last supervisor is Professor Dr. Nelly Zakia, PhD, as a co-supervisor to give the questions. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Prof. Melissa, woman today. First of all, Faqeeh, I would like to congratulate you as well. Your family, your friends here, your colleagues who joining us today, both in person and also online, on this, I would say, remarkable achievement of yours. Let's say there are lots of publications and also peer-reviewed, and also your whole dissertation is also very, very good. So, but I still need to give you questions. So I have two questions for you today. The first one is about the generalizability. To what extent can the findings of your dissertation be applied to other countries, let's say, in a similar income levels? And what would be your recommendation for adapting the findings of your study, both in older vaccination and also maternal supplementation, to those contexts? That would be my first question. I think you can answer this, then I can move on to the second question.
Thank you, Dr. Neely, for your congratulations and warm wishes. Regarding the first question about the generalizability of the data, so actually we have to, I mean, like, it depends on what area that we are talking about. If we are talking about the generalizability of the frameworks that we have conducted, I think it's highly transferable because we already developed, we have used frameworks, and we have also developed frameworks, and those, I think, can be transferable to other settings, especially in the same settings of Indonesia, or maybe lower, even lower or middle income countries. But if we are talking about the specific findings of our findings regarding even the vaccination or the maternal, I think it's quite difficult because, you know, we used Indonesian local data regarding the epidemiological data or maybe economical data, which is, I believe, different from other settings. I mean, maybe higher, maybe lower. So this framework can be adopted there, but with using their data from the other setting. Same for MMS, we have tested, you know, the maternal perspective, which I believe in other countries may be higher knowledge, lower knowledge. So the idea is that we can recommend adopting our frameworks in other settings. But regarding the specific findings, it could be maybe specific to Indonesia itself.
Very well. My next and last question is about the priority setting part. Because you mentioned in your dissertation, especially if it's applicable to Indonesia, disease burden, clinical effectiveness, cost consideration, it's already increasingly incorporated in healthcare priority setting, especially in Indonesia. But then there's also one parameter, one important parameter, which is the fairness and equity. And what are your views on the role of these additional criteria on the equity, especially in the Indonesian context, where we all know that disparities in, for example, healthcare access exist in Indonesia?
Yeah. Thank you again for the second question. And I believe this is a very important point that we should highlight here in this discussion, because at first we have identified 5 criteria, and those 5 criteria, they are already there in Indonesia, but, you know, it's not defined as a framework. So we could find studies that focus on cost effectiveness, maybe but not as a framework in one place. Regarding the equity, which is, I think, very important, that I believe Indonesia has progressed very well in the equity part by applying such intervention like the GKN or the national insurance system. But again, if we're talking about the equity, it means that some areas that needs should be prioritized or should be given more care than the other cities. I mean, we cannot compare districts from Papua, for example, to Bandung. Bandung, they have more access to maybe the health interventions. So I think equity is in a good progress here in Indonesia, but we need to focus more about the disparities about these cities. And I also recommend in my dissertation that equity should be one of the parameters that should be included while evaluating any intervention. So not only focusing on the cost effectiveness and maybe a burden disease, but also we have to include them as one of the parameters in order to get fair and accessible interventions to all people.
Fully agree. Thank you very much for your answer. I will give the session back to Chairwoman, Prof. Melissa.
Thank you very much. So coming to the questions or rebuttal from the experts opponents. First, I invite Professor Dr. Dwi Endarti as external examiner from Universitas Gadjah Mada to give the questions, and the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Melissa, the chair lady. Good afternoon, Mr. Faqeeh.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Okay. So first of all, I would like to congratulate for your achievement today. By reading your dissertation report and watching your previous presentation, I believe you already done a very great work. Yeah. However, I have a few questions for you to confirm. In total, I have 3 questions for you. Actually, it is a general question. So for the first question, your dissertation focused on determining the priority settings of new health intervention. In this topic, you include 2 issues, which are adult vaccination and maternal supplementation. My question is why you select these 2 issues that's actually not quite related to each other into a single topic.
Yeah.
Okay, please answer this question, please.
Thank you. First, Prof. Dwi, for joining us. And I think it's quite interesting to have different examiners from different places. We have Prof. Dwi from Yogyakarta, beautiful city. And regarding your first question about the why I chose the vaccination and also MMS. So actually, our topic at the beginning, it's about setting priorities for new healthcare interventions in Indonesia. It's for the new healthcare, and then the time that we started our dissertation, my dissertation, MMS was just launched in Indonesia, and it was launched also in the same city where I'm living in Bandung. So that was an interest to get the first study that could evaluate the patient perspective of this new intervention. That's the first part of MMS. The second part, which is vaccine. As I mentioned earlier, that older adult, they are the most important population group that we should take care of, because several factors, including their low immunity and lack of care maybe, and so many factors. So we see that so many studies now are conducting, but they are focusing on adult population group, but not the older adults. So, and there are also new vaccines that are running in the market. So, we believe that evaluating new vaccines to be included for this population group would be beneficial for the Indonesian health system. So, in short, we have identified new healthcare interventions. However, they are not related to each other, but still under one major title, which is new healthcare intervention in Indonesia.
Okay, thank you. Coming to the second question. In the priority for vaccine, you include 4 vaccine candidates, right? This include IV, PCV, RZV, and RSPV. My question is, what vaccine identified at the beginning as candidate vaccine for analysis? I mean, we know that there are many vaccines in Indonesia for potential for other adult vaccination, such as HPV, typhoid, TB, dengue, hepatitis B, and why this 4 vaccine win over the other competing vaccine candidates?
Thank you very much. I think I have missed also to explain this in my presentation. So,
Yes.
and this is very important point that should be highlighted here today in order to know how we selected these vaccines. So at first, as I mentioned or as presented in my presentation, that we have identified if at first more than 20 vaccines to be included in this analysis. And to include all this in one study is quite challenging. So based on several factors, me and my research team, we have identified these vaccines to be included. And one of them is the epidemiological data. And then we had also the available of the evidence, because it's very important in MCD studies to have evidence. So we included based on this and also the epidemiological data and also relevance to the health or older adult population. And also we have discussed this with physicians from the Indonesian Society of Internal Medicine. So we have filtered based on several steps. And I believe that there are still vaccines to be included. And that's why we also recommended at the end of our studies to include such vaccines. One of them is hepatitis B and some other vaccines that also were suggested by the stakeholders to be included for further studies. So we could say that this is just the start of many prioritization studies that can be conducted in the future.
Yeah, okay, thank you. And then my third and last question for you. Some of evidence sources used to score the vaccine prioritization are among from international sources, correct?
Yes.
Particularly for evidence of cost effectiveness, the value of ICER per quali from other setting, it might have different situation with Indonesian. Do you think they can be sources of potential bias for the final scores of the vaccine prioritization?
Thank you for this important question. And I got the same revision from the journal that we are submitting to. So they were asking also the same point regarding the because we use quantitative data regarding the cost effectiveness, and this quantitative data could be different because we are using different data from other settings. So in order to prevent this bias, we have conducted also sensitivity analysis for these factors. So we have only did we did the sensitivity analysis on these factors to see whether the ranking of these vaccines will be changed with the sensitivity analysis or no. And actually, using this data was out of our control because there was a lack of this data in the Indonesian context. So that's why we moved to the neighboring country, and then actually I believe that's also acceptable and currently is used especially in the adaptive health technology assessment studies. So that's why we moved to this step, and we tried also to make the result more strong by doing the sensitivity analysis. Sorry, Prof, can you hear my voice?
Yeah, okay, just now I lost my connection, but that's okay. I satisfied with your answer, and thank you so much. I give back the floor to the chair lady. Thank you, Prof. Melissa.
Thank you, Prof. Dwi. So for the next, I will invite Dr. Panji Fortuna Hadi Sumarto as internal examiner to give the questions, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ibu Chair, for the opportunity. And first of all, Faqeeh, I have to congratulate you for a very good work. I think your dissertation is very, very well written. And you demonstrated a thorough understanding about the topics. And I think I really appreciate the balance of breadth and depth of methodological approaches that you use. I think you're very much prepared to be a postdoc or even more. But I have to ask you a question, and I think the great thing about having the last opportunity to ask question is that most of the questions are already answered by you. So I will ask you one very general question. And this is related to data. And also Prof. D also raised this issue that you had to use different sources of data to populate your information for prioritization setting. So from what you learn from the process, can you propose or advise us on what should we do to ensure that good quality data are available for future prioritization exercises, Paki?
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Wanji, for your question. And we wish that you are with us here today, but your commitment, and thank you for also taking the time to join us from Jakarta. Regarding your question, yeah, I think evidence is the most important thing for all the issues regarding the health system in Indonesia, and that's a very difficult situation that I faced personally in my research, especially for the vaccination part, because there are many vaccines that are now newly manufactured, and also they are introduced in some countries and other no. And as we know that Indonesia, because it's a higher income country, and now the some fund are not giving to Indonesia. So again, so many problems is related to the vaccination part. But again, we come back to the evidence. I recommend like putting more focus on the high quality evidence first, including conducting systematic reviews maybe, and going through the Indonesia is now, as I mentioned before, they have also clinical trials maybe in this regarding the new TB vaccines. That's interesting, but also we should also focus on the primary studies in order to get national data that can be further used for further studies. We have so many limitations in our study, and that's possibly related to the unavailability of the data. But I hope later on in the future that there will be good data, and that will inform decision making that is very precise and can get the right interventions in order to increase or enhance the uptake of an intervention.
Excellent, Fakih. Thank you. I will return the session to Madam Chair. Please.
Thank you, Dr. Panji.
Thank you very much, Dr. Panji. So the next question, I will invite Dr. Adiatma Yudhistira Manogar as internal examiner to give the questions. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. Paki, almost at the finish line, yeah? So, and then I just realized when Pak Martin said you started at 2024. Yes. So that's really quick. And I'm also happy to look at the list of your publication, and some of them are still in the review. So quite fascinating. I'm a bit envy, to be honest, because I didn't do the same when I did my PhD. But anyway, so I think you gathered a lot of experience and you learned a lot, yeah, from studying in your home country as well as in Unpad. And on that note, my question would be on your next step, yeah, because I believe you have acquired a lot of knowledge in terms of economic evaluation and HTA, etc., and how you organize these sessions, yeah, with different individuals to obtain the to determine priorities, etc. And how do you see yourself contribute, yeah, in terms of the relevant policy making in the future, whether it's in, let's say, Indonesia or maybe your home country, yeah, or anywhere else, yeah, because an economic evaluation is basically a method that can be used anywhere, right? And you have learned a lot about this. So I'm curious to hear about your idea of your next steps. Yeah. So what would they be, and how can what you have learned thus far contribute to that step? Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Adiatma, for your words. And I would also take the chance to thank Prof. Aulia and Dr. Neely for giving me the chance to be included in these studies. I mean, especially about the health technology assessment, because I was one of the team for Farsi Center in the faculty, and I have learned so much from that, especially regarding the adaptive health technology assessment. And that also gave me, a key or like a way or interest, because previously I don't know about health technology assessment. The only thing that I knew previously is about pharmacoeconomic in general, but this is a new interesting measure, and I have seen there is an increasing interest in many countries regarding the health technology assessment. And because, unfortunately, it's somehow far away in my country to get this, because of the health and, insurance system is not as good as Indonesia. So I think, transferring this science to my country or any other country that I might get chance there would be very nice thing. And I believe it's an interesting science, and it helps, to resource to put the allocation of the resources in the right place, and to help the policymakers. And it's something that I like to be included in these positions in the policymakers. So hopefully there is no clear chance where to, but I'm sure that I'm going to get a chance in the right place with my contribution in this science or in this field.
Okay. You have planned to work in a ministry? Maybe Prof. Aulia help assisting Prof. Aulia. Well, who knows, huh? Maybe you said in your home country, there's still a lot of work you have to do. So maybe you can be one of the, let's say, the first people who begin with this kind of approach, right? Okay, thank you very much. And I satisfied with your answer, and I return the session to the chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Adel.
Okay, thank you very much. So for the last examiner is Professor Rizky Abdullah as the representative of Universitas Pajajaran Professor Board. So the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. So first, congratulations, Fatih, for all the hard work and the nice presentation to us. And you did all the work in with Indonesian data, right?
Yes.
So I think you're already quite familiar with Indonesian setting from your since your master degree, then continued with the doctoral degree, right? So my question is maybe related to what Pak Adiatma mentioned before about the ministry. So if somehow you are appointed by Indonesian Ministry of Health to design the Indonesian National Healthcare Priority Setting System for the next 10 years. So based on your research, from your point of view, give us at least 2 key reforms that would you consider the most critical, and also why. If you could mention more than 2 also is welcome.
Okay. Thank you, Prof. Rizky, for your words. And I'd like also to take the chance to thank Prof. Rizky, because Prof. Rizky was the first person that I went that time to ask for how to write publication. So, and from there, I started my journey. Regarding the question related to the most important criteria to be included or to be prioritized for the Ministry of Health in order to to prioritize such vaccines or interventions. Sorry. Well, I think if we're talking about the most top 2 is, of course, the one that is already there in Indonesia, which is the burden of disease and also cost effectiveness. But again, I believe that these 2 alone are not enough, because it's like a package. So we will focus on cost effectiveness and burden of disease, but we will miss other things regarding the access and equity and other area that should be there. So as a short answer, I would prefer to prioritize the 2, burden of disease and cost effectiveness, but I prefer like grouping them the five criteria together.
Yeah, can you explain to us why you choose those two?
Yeah. So burden of disease, of course, it shows us how much the impact of any disease, and this will you know, we are using many metrics in order to get, including the disability adjusted life years, in which we know how many people they are affected by even the disability, not even the disease or the death. So I think this is why burden of disease is very important. And regarding the second one, which is cost effectiveness, which I think it's the most important one, because you know Indonesia and other countries, especially Indonesia at this time, are running of some economical issues. So I believe cost effectiveness is most important thing, because it shows us which interventions can be adopted at a suitable price.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome, bro.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have finished the questions and answer sessions of today's doctoral promotion. Next, we will have some break to the committee for final meeting on final marks of the promotion. We invite the committee who attend the promotion by offline or online to join us in the meeting room. And the promovendus and the audience shall have time break for you. Thank you. Padahal cuman sebentar sih. So, Honorable Supervisor Team, Honorable External and Internal Examiners, Honorable Representative of Professors in Universitas Pajajaran, dear audience here in the auditorium, and those who join us in the live streaming YouTube, we will continue the doctoral promotion of Mohammed Adel Mohammed Al-faqeeh, and we invite promovendus to join the room. Promovendus Mohammed Adel Mohammed Al-faqeeh, the committee has finished the meeting on your dissertation and doctoral promotion today. So based on the final marks of the subjects of doctoral study, the marks of your doctoral defense, the review on dissertation manuscript, and the doctoral promotion today, we have come to the decision that you passed your doctoral study with judicium cum laude. So starting today, you are officially awarded the academic degree as doctor. On behalf of Rector of Universitas Pajajaran, we congratulate your achievement, and congratulations are also extended to your family who has been supporting you to achieve this highest academic degree. I hope this will bring more success in your future, and it will be realized that the doctoral degree is not just adding 2 letters in front of your name, but it carries more responsibility to continuously develop knowledge, especially in the field of science that you are engaged in, to contribute to the welfare of the nations and state. The doctoral certificates will not be awarded at these sessions, but will be given later at the upcoming Universitas Pajajaran graduation ceremony. As proof of the graduation approval of Mr. Mohammed Adel Mohammed Al-faqeeh in this doctoral promotion session, we will hand over the certificate of approval of the doctor's promotion session on behalf of Dr. Mohammed Adel Mohammed Al-faqeeh. Next, I invite the head of the supervisor team, Professor Aulia Swantika, MBA PhD, to convey his impressions, messages, and hopes for this new doctor. Professor Aulia, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Distinguished Chair and Secretary of the Examination Committee, honorable members of the Examination Committee, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Supervisory Committee, we would like to express our deepest appreciation to the Chair, Secretary, and all members of the Examination Committee for your careful evaluation, constructive comments, and thoughtful deliberation throughout today's doctoral promotion session. Your valuable insights have enriched this academic process and contributed significantly to the successful completion of this important milestone. To Dr. Mohammed Adel Mohammed Al-faqeeh, we extend our heartfelt congratulations on the successful completion of your Doctor of Philosophy degree. Today marks not only the culmination of years of hard work, perseverance, and intellectual dedication, but also the beginning of a new chapter in your academic and professional journey. Over the course of your doctoral studies, we have had the privilege of witnessing your remarkable transformation into an independent, critical, and highly productive researcher. Your unwavering commitment to scientific excellence has been reflected not only in the quality of your dissertation, but also in your outstanding research productivity. Throughout your master and doctoral journey, you have successfully published more than 20 scientific manuscripts in peer-reviewed journals, while 17 additional manuscripts are currently under review. This is an exceptional achievement that demonstrates your consistency, discipline, and passion for advancing scientific knowledge. Beyond your publications, you have actively contributed to numerous national and international research initiatives. We are particularly proud of your involvement in several collaborative projects with leading institutions, including research conducted in collaboration with the World Health Organization headquarters. These experiences have strengthened your capacity to work in multidisciplinary and international environments while contributing to evidence that supports better health policies and healthcare decision-making across countries. Your doctoral research has addressed important challenges in healthcare priority setting and generated valuable evidence to support evidence-informed policymaking, particularly in Indonesia and other low and middle income countries. More importantly, your work reflects a strong commitment to ensuring that health policies are guided by robust scientific evidence and ultimately improve the lives of communities. As your supervisors, we are especially proud of your academic accomplishments, as well as your professionalism, humility, perseverance, and willingness to continually learn and grow. These qualities have made supervising your doctoral journey both rewarding and inspiring. Although our formal supervisory responsibilities conclude today, we sincerely hope that this is not the end of our academic relationship. Instead, we hope it marks the beginning of an even stronger and more productive collaboration. We look forward to continuing to work together on future research projects, mentoring young researchers, publishing impactful scientific works, and contributing to the advancement of global health and evidence-informed policymaking. As you move forward in your career, we encourage you to continue upholding the highest standard of scientific integrity, academic excellence, and professional ethics. Never stop asking important questions, seeking innovative solutions, and using your knowledge to create meaningful impacts for society. We are confident that you will continue to make significant contribution to academia, healthcare, and global public health. Once again, congratulations on earning the highest academic degree awarded by Universitas Padjadjaran. We are truly proud of your achievements and wish you continued success, good health, happiness, and every blessing in all your future endeavors. Thank you very much. Jatinangor, 7th of July, 2026. On behalf of the Supervisory Committee, Aulia, Dr. Nelly Zakia, and Professor Martin Jacobus Posma.
Thank you. So before I close this session, I invite Dr. Mohammed Adel Mohammed Al-faqeeh to express his gratitude and happiness regarding the completion of his doctoral degree in Doctor of Pharmacy Study Program, Faculty of Pharmacy, Universitas Padjadjaran. Dr. Mohammed Adel Mohammed Al-faqeeh, the floor is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Chairperson and Secretary of the Examination Committee, my respected supervisors, honorable members of the Examination Committee, dear lecturers, faculty staff, friends, family who's joining us today. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is the day that I have dreamed about for many years. And actually, there is no single word that could describe what I'm feeling right now. As a kid, grew up in Yemen, I had a dream, and that dream is to become PhD graduate. And at that time, I had no idea how difficult that journey would be, or how many countries that journey would take me through. So I began in Yemen, and then life took me to Egypt for searching other opportunities. And then Allah granted me, or opening a door for me, and brought me to Indonesia. The time to pursuing like my master degree, and by His mercy, I'm today defending my PhD dissertation. Looking back to this, I realized that having a dream is not, making them real is not just because we have them. It's because of the hard work. It's because of the sincere intention, and because Allah places the right people in our path at the right time. I still remember my first week being here in Indonesia, and actually, to be honest, I wanted to go back home because everything was unfamiliar, the people, the culture, the language, the food, and I kept asking myself, can I really do this? But slowly, Indonesia stopped feeling like a foreign country, and little by little, it became my second home. And another funny story is that because my master degree it was clinical pharmacy, so I had to practice in the hospital. And at the time, I had some basics for the Indonesian language, and I thought that's enough to handle the situation, while dealing with the medication team and the patients. So, and at that time, I had to go to the patient to teach them about their medication and such stuff there. So sometimes I was listening that people are speaking language other than the language that I just learned, and every time it feels, new examination for me, and I realized that there is Habasund and other local languages, but I listened, I learned, I practiced, and I made mistakes. But hopefully fortunately the mistakes were not medically talking about the language. But yeah, we made mistakes and we learned, and this is the life. We have to be strong. And this PhD journey didn't teach me only science; teach me so many things. Patience, resilience, and humility. To my esteemed supervisors, I know I have asked many questions, sent many revisions maybe, and probably I tested your patience more than once. And I'm here to say I really apologize for any one of this, but you should know that every correction, every discussion, and every challenge made me a better person. It made me a better researcher. Thank you. To the examination, with the Honorable Examination Committee, thank you so much. You have been accompanying me since the first of this journey, since the seminar of proposal, going through the many seminars of the research progress, ending up with the research, the result seminar, and then before this also reviewing the dissertation. So many things. I really thank you for your time, for your support. And the lecturers and faculty staffs, Adi is watching us from there. We have here Prof. Irma also, the head of the department. And other lecturers, thank you so much for creating an environment where students like me, international students, can grow. Thank you so much. Studying abroad also taught me something else. Staying away from family is never easy. I think most of you have experienced this before. But some days were full of happiness. Some were full of loneliness, feeling tired, questioning myself, but Allah pleased me with incredible people, friends who are my family and staying there over there. Thank you so much for giving me your time, for your support, and sometimes for a shoulder to lean on. And finally, I would like to thank the people who sacrificed the most for me. I know they are not sitting here. They're joining us online. To my beloved mother and father, the sisters, to my beautiful wife and my precious daughter, to my father-in-law, mother-in-law, brothers-in-law, for my aunts, for my uncles. Thank you so much. Every prayer you made, every sacrifice you gave, and every single word of encouragement that brought me one step closer to this moment. This moment is not mine alone. Thanks to all of you. Thank you so much for sharing me this moment. And I would like also to leave one message before I leave is never underestimate the power of a dream. A dream that a little boy dreamed to be a PhD graduate, and that dream crossed borders, cultures, languages, and by mercy of Allah, that little boy is standing here as a PhD graduate. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Dr. Mohammed Adel Muhammad Al-faqeeh. By expressing gratitude for the presence of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala and thanks to the supervisor team and the examiners team as well as the audience, the session is declared to be completed and closed. So we invite Dr. Mohammed Adel Muhammad Al-faqeeh to stand in front of the camera for photo sessions and with all the committee or maybe with all the audience also. Thank you.